Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we've got quite a stack of sources here, all focused on what seems like the holy grail in smartphones, right? Finding
Right.
that genuinely top tier, flagship performance, but without paying that crazy flagship price. So our mission today is all about the Xiaomi 15T Pro. The sources we've looked at, they suggest this phone isn't just another option, it makes a quote confident statement. Apparently, it achieves this brilliant blend of power, precision, and practicality. So we're going to unpack exactly how Xiaomi pulled this off and maybe more importantly, where the corners might have been cut.
Right. And if you just look at the overall takeaway from the sources, the vibe is that this thing is seriously competitive. It offers really exceptional value, genuinely squares up against phones that cost a whole lot more. But, you know, as is often the case when you're aiming this high but trying to keep the cost down, there's like one pretty major point of friction that some potential buyers really need to know up front.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely circle back to that specific trade-off. But let's start where everyone starts, the outside, the look and feel. Because the sources are super clear on this. The 15T Pro doesn't just feel okay. It apparently looks, well, genuinely striking. They're talking about design with uh, premium, understated elegance. That sleek black finish, the way it's built, it feels as refined as phones costing hundreds more. Solid, comfortable in the hand.
And what's really interesting there is just the engineering challenge they overcame. You've got this massive 6.83-inch display, right? And a really hefty 5500 milliamp core battery inside. Huge components. Yet somehow Xiaomi kept the craftsmanship superb. The sources mention how the curved edges meet the frame, making it feel less bulky, less awkward than you'd expect for its size. That's a big win.
That sounds pretty crucial, especially if it's geared towards watching videos or gaming.
Yeah.
So what is it about the screen itself? Is it just the size, or is there some specific tech making it stand out?
Oh, it's definitely the tech. The display is consistently called out as like one of the phone's absolute biggest highlights. We're talking a 6.83-inch AMOLED panel, so you get those perfect deep blacks, vibrant colors, all that good stuff. But the real kicker, it's the refresh rate, 144 hertz, which is incredibly fast.
144 hertz.
Yeah, and that smoothness is something you can really feel. Everything from just scrolling through websites to high-action gaming feels incredibly fluid. Silky and responsive is the phrase used, and the visual quality itself is top-notch. Colors look great, vibrant, but not, like, weirdly oversaturated.
Yeah.
And it gets bright enough for outdoor use, even on sunny days. No major struggles there.
Okay, that 144 hertz sounds amazing, but isn't that also a huge battery drain? And what about, like, staring at such a bright, fast screen for hours? Did the sources mention eye strain or comfort?
It did, yeah. And that's actually a neat detail the sources picked up on for people who use their phones a lot. Xiaomi included its eye care technology. It sounds like marketing speak, but it's apparently quite helpful in practice. What it does is it automatically adjusts the screen's color tones and actively reduces blue light output during longer viewing sessions. It shows they're thinking about the day-to-day reality of using the phone heavily, not just chasing specs. It's a nice touch, adds to that premium feel in a practical way.
Okay, right. Let's unpack the engine then. Design and display sound great, but, if the performance isn't there, it doesn't really matter how good it looks. What kind of power did Xiaomi actually manage to squeeze under the hood to justify calling this a flagship performer?
Well, this is where they really didn't hold back. The 15T Pro runs on MediaTek's latest Dimensity 9400 plus Ara. That's their absolute top-of-the-line chip right now. And Xiaomi's paired it with a good amount of memory. 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage in the main version.
Okay, Dimensity 9400 plus SIM. Big power often means big heat, right? Especially when you push it hard. Some past high-end MediaTek chips had issues with throttling, losing steam during long gaming sessions. Did the sources touch on that?
They did, and this seems to be a strong point for the 9400 Plus in this phone specifically. The consensus is, yeah, it delivers a genuine, consistent flagship experience. Multitasking is apparently seamless. Heavy games, demanding 3D stuff, they run smoothly. And crucially, even after pushing it hard for, say, 20 or 30 minutes straight in the game, the thermal management holds up really well. Keeping that performance high without getting overly hot or throttling significantly, that's a major win for MediaTek, and it suggests Xiaomi did a good job with the cooling system too.
Right, so the power is definitely there. But like we just talked about with that super fast screen, power needs stamina. What's the point of a race car engine if the tank's empty in 5 minutes?
Endurance is another area where this phone apparently excels. That big 5500 milliamp battery, it really delivers. Sources say it easily lasts a full day of pretty heavy use. And that's with the 144 hertz refresh rate turned on. which is a lot about the optimization work Xiaomi did on the software side, balancing that power draw.
Yeah.
You're not constantly worried about finding a charger.
Okay, this is all sounding almost too good to be true. Powerful, great screen, lasts all day. So let's get to that friction point you mentioned earlier. The caveat. Where's the catch?
Ah, yes, the catch. It's the one thing that came up again and again in the sources as a point of, well, user frustration. There is no charging brick included in the box. None at all.
No charger.
Seriously. So the phone supports incredibly fast charging, which is a key feature for a power user with a big battery like this. But you, the buyer, have to go out and buy a compatible fast charger separately just to use that feature properly.
Right, and that definitely changes the equation, doesn't it? You think you're buying the complete package, but then immediately you need to spend extra money on another piece of gear. Often those high wattage chargers aren't cheap either. Did the sources give any insight into why? Is it really saving that much money on the retail price, or is it more about, those green initiatives, but it just ends up annoying the customer?
The sources lean towards it being a mix of things. Probably a small cost saving for Xiaomi, maybe a nod toward reducing e-waste, sure. But regardless of the why, the effect on the user is undeniable. It kind of breaks that feeling of getting a complete premium product straight out of the box. It's a deliberate choice, no doubt, but it introduces friction right at the start.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. Okay, let's shift gears then. Let's talk cameras. This is often where phones really make or break their reputation long term. And there seems to be quite a bit of buzz around the Leica partnership here. Sounds like they're really aiming for photography fans.
Oh, absolutely. And the results seem to back it up. The
Right.
main 50-megapixel camera delivers what reviewers are calling outstanding results.
Mm-hmm.
They really highlighted the color accuracy, true-to-life colors, and the level of detail it captures. Depth seems good too, and the low-light performance is apparently particularly impressive. Good processing, thanks to that Leica tuning, balancing the exposure without making things look overly processed or artificially smooth like some phones do.
Okay, strong main camera. But I think one source singled out something specific, calling it the real star of the camera setup, suggesting one lens is really punching above its weight.
That would be the 5x telephoto lens. And yeah, this is actually a huge deal, something we really need to underline. Getting genuine, high-quality optical zoom at this kind of price point, that's extremely rare. Often, competitors in this range will use maybe a lower-quality 2x lens, or they'll just digitally crop the main sensor to fake the zoom. But having a dedicated, good-quality 5x optical telephoto lens, that's usually something reserved for those super premium, $1,200 plus phones.
So you're saying it's not just a spec on a sheet, you actually get useful zoom, like crisp, detailed shots from further away without losing much quality.
Exactly. That's the key takeaway. It's a real differentiator for people who shoot things like landscapes or maybe portraits from a bit of a distance. It adds genuine versatility. It really shows where Xiaomi decided to invest budget in the camera system. And the rest of the system holds up too. The ultra-wide lens is solid, selfie camera performs well, portraits look natural, rich colors. Plus, the camera app itself got praised for being intuitive and quick. The whole thing feels polished, focused. That Leica influence seems pretty clear.
Okay, so core specs, camera.
Yeah.
What about future-proofing? When you spend this kind of money, even if it's less than top tier, you want it to last, right? Not feel outdated in a year.
Yeah, that seems covered. Connectivity is really comprehensive. You get 5G, naturally,
Yeah.
but it also includes Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and NFC.
Wi-Fi 7. Okay, most people probably don't have a Wi-Fi 7 router yet. What's the immediate benefit, or is that purely for down the line?
It's mostly future-proofing, but Wi-Fi 7 offers potentially much faster speeds and lower latency compared to Wi-Fi 6 or 6E, especially in crowded network areas, assuming you have the compatible router eventually. It just means faster downloads, smoother high-res, streaming potentially, more stable connections overall. It ensures the phone's ready for the next few years of network demands.
Makes sense. And for watching all that content on the nice AMOLED screen, what about the sound? Speakers need to keep up.
They do, apparently. The dual stereo speakers are described as strong, clear, full soundstage, good for watching movies or listening to music without reaching for headphones. The whole media package seems very well thought out.
And one last thing, that signal of confidence from Xiaomi itself. The warranty.
Right, a 2-year warranty is mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely adds some peace of mind and suggests the brand feels pretty good about the build quality and how long this hardware will last.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What's the final verdict here? We've got a phone with a gorgeous, super fast 144 hertz screen, seriously powerful performance from that Dimensity 9400 plus chip with good cooling, and a camera system that sounds genuinely class-leading, especially with that proper 5x optical telephoto, all thanks to the Leica input.
Yeah, summing it up, the 15T Pro really does seem like a complete hardware package. The Thors has found it genuinely hard to fault. Aside from that one, pretty significant annoyance, the missing charger.
Yeah.
For anyone looking for that true high-end smartphone experience but wanting to avoid those top-brand premium prices, the value here just looks outstanding. If you recap the achievement, it's hitting all those key ultra-premium notes, right? The 144 Hz AMOLED, the Dimensity 9400 plus power, that standout 5x optical zoom, and bundling it all at a price that really shakes things up.
But, and this brings us back to that final thought, it does raise a fascinating question, doesn't it? If Xiaomi is confident enough to offer a 2-year warranty, suggesting they believe in the product's quality, and they've delivered what feels like a truly complete flagship internally, why make the customer bear the cost and the hassle of buying the fast charger separately?
Exactly. It's a question about perception versus reality, isn't it? Does that small saving, or maybe that nod to eco-friendliness, end up undermining the feeling of getting a truly premium, ready-to-go product? Even if the hardware itself is absolutely top tier, it almost makes the flagship status feel conditional, like you have to complete the purchase after you've already bought the phone. Definitely something to chew on.
Indeed. Can a phone really claim the flagship crown if part of its core functionality requires an extra separate purchase? Something for you to think about if you're considering your next upgrade. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.